got Jake Stine up top, and we have Max Deresh on the bottom. These players are ready to go. Going to be exciting.
Die roll here very important in game one.
Yep. Looks like Jake Stine takes it down. And let's see. There's a dice on a 5 here. So let's see. Maybe someone's mulled to 5. Could just be hanging around. Those don't look like a lot of cards here from Jake Stine.
The cards themselves, like, aren't that important. It's more the right cards.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like, we're looking at a combo here. We're looking at a combo fast.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So getting that Misty cracked for that breeding pool. Those are gorgeous.
Those are pretty nice.
Those are pretty gorgeous. Getting it going here, and it's a Tameo with a bobble. And a pass to Max.
So as we were saying, the creatures are a little less impactful when you're just trying to go.
Yeah. Also got to love Max here. Double headsets. That's a nice look. That's a nice look. I'm a fan. Oh, the natural Tormod's Crypt here. From the top ropes here, Max deciding to play Crypt instead of Soul Guide Lantern. And you know, when you naturally draw it, Crypt is better. You know, you can combo it with Emery, and that is quite nice.
Yeah, very, very potent.
Yeah.
Ooh, we got a removal spell here, too.
Yeah.
Not too bad of a start. Because the thing is that this is what we often see in post-board games, right?
Yeah.
Where we see a hate piece, and then the breach that can shift into Emery and Samio and these other card advantage avenues that aren't about speed. Now we see a game 1 hate piece and the answer to the creature as well.
Yeah, really rough stuff here for Jake. I mean, if you get to the, what is this, the one of Lightning Bolt that we're probably seeing here? Yeah. Wow. Both players have just absolutely gorgeous decks.
Ooh, is that
I'm a fan.
Is that a beta bolt, too? Jeez.
Oh, man.
They came to play in the feature match.
Yeah, no kidding.
Matching old bordered foil dual lands.
I feel like we have to take that bolt down out of pure shame of how much worse that bolt is in our graphic compared to the one that just got exiled.
Oh.
Okay. Soul Guide Lantern as well. Both players, you know, kind of having their best card going into game number 1 here.
And this is where these decks that have a lot of like one-ofs and tutor targets are become kind of interesting, where when you just draw them,
yeah,
it changes the dynamic of things a lot, especially in the matchup where they are good, like right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Preordain here from Max, trying to find some stuff. Bottom. See if we have a land drop there. Scolding Tarn. And Mox Amber joining the fray. Now, if we can get something like an Emery, and you get to crypt over and over.
That's pretty sweet.
Yep. You get to tell your friends of the tales of the crypt, you know. I mean, we're going to be... Going to be really going off here.
That was a show, right? With the weird doll, creepy doll thing.
Very creepiest intro. Kind of haunted my childhood, to be honest.
But, you said it, and like the back part of my brain was just like, oh yeah, that was scary. That was scary. That was scary. The Crypt Keeper, yes.
Yeah, there you go. So any 90s kid that remembers the tales of the crypt, it was very, very creepy. That's for sure.
Also creepy here is the Lurker of Valak.
Yeah. Yeah, Emery coming down. Retro frame. Gotta love it. And there is a Preordain. Grape Shot getting milled. But remember, we got an Oracle as well.
Yeah, so on Max's side, that was my ooh right there, was a Grape Shot being milled. But there is an Oracle on Max's side also. So, that could have been disastrous if it was the other way around.
Yeah. I mean, but you are still one card away from still being a disaster.
Yeah, so on any Rumble, any Emery, any random mill, if that Grape Shot hits the bin, while Max still has the Tormod's Crypt available, which should be, in theory, every turn, thanks to Emery, things get really ugly on Jake's side.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, we did just see Corey B, the last time we were in the booth, still had the ability to, looks like an Emery here, milling over some cards, but still had the ability to win pretty easily without the breaches. Different matchup. You know, when it is 2 combo decks coming off, you're not going the long game as easily. But Emery flipping over, Smox Opal, and we just have this Lantern. So, I mean, both players' draws are great. Recurring Graveyard Hate, it's pretty strong.
Yeah, this is not what we would typically expect from a game 1 in this scenario.
Yes.
It's actually really kind of a cool game. And the fact that both players have this means that we are still playing at parity, just a very, very different kind of unexpected parity.
Yep. Absolutely. Now, the other wrinkle here had the Haywire Might. So here is the Lantern. We'll see if that was kind of bait. You know, I mean, that is the one thing I do all the time when I'm playing against Relics or Crypts or whatever. Target with Emery, and you stare right at him.
Yep.
You're like, you want me to get this value? And it's almost bad either way for them. It's like you either get this value and then you don't try to combo, or maybe the game's over right now through Graveyard Hate. And that just, you know, everyone says, how do you play through Graveyard Hate like this? By the way you play, you can influence when they pop these graveyard cards.
Yeah, interesting now, so that the Lantern is in the graveyard. Emery can recur it, but of course it's sorcery speed. So if Max wants to, the Crypt can fire off and we can end this sort of like Soul Guide Lantern Crypt subgame, I guess on one side.
On one side,
right?
Exactly.
Max still have access to the Crypts.
Yep, and I mean, that's the brutal part, because if Jake didn't, you know, pop it there, the Haywire Mite can target the Lantern, and then you can Crypt. So damned if you will, damned if you don't type thing. So all the advantage here to Max for sure. Flame of Anor.
You shall not pass.
Dead Emery, drawing some cards. And honestly, Flame of Anor, one of the best cards for this deck, and just a very unique card that we've basically never seen. A built-in 3-for-1. Yeah, you got to work for it a little bit, but we don't see 3-for-1s built into a card too often.
Yeah, also, are you really working for it? You just
Yeah.
want to play Emery and Tamio
Well,
anyway.
I'm just saying in general. Just
Okay,
Flame
sure.
of Anor as a card in a vacuum. A built-in 3-for-1. Of course, you got to make some wizard stuff happen. But, yeah, I mean, these decks play 9 wizards.
Yeah, very, very powerful.
Yeah.
The flexibility, too. Usually when you get a card that's modal, the flexibility comes at the cost of being efficient.
Yeah.
Flames kind of just both.
Yeah, agreed. No, Flame of Anor is awesome. Maybe it wasn't the most popular card with the One Ring, because you just didn't need that kind of card advantage. You know, your top end was always the ring, and you didn't want any more expensive cards. But with that gone, Flame of Anor ends up looking awesome.
Yeah, so Haywire Mite here is, I mean, it is a way to possibly break through Tormod's Crypt for a turn.
Yep.
But with not much else going on Jake's side,
Yep.
not looking awesome here.
Yeah, and body language definitely tells the whole story here. Of course, the mulligan to 5, not great.
You know what Jake needs?
Huh.
More headphones.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yep. Put some AirPods on the table, get some headphones around the neck, win the headphone race. You know, you usually win your match.
Yep.
Great commentary, man.
Thanks, bud.
All right.
Ooh, here we go.
The Breach. Welcome to the underworld. I, for one, welcome our new Breach Overlords. How about you?
I don't think they're welcome for much longer.
You're right. The tournament will have to end at some point. I get what you're putting down. All right, so here is a sacrifice of the Mox Amber. Mill some cards. And tapping of an Opal.
It's an interesting Opal.
Yep. Yeah, really, really awesome deck here from Max, I must say.
Yeah, I mean, the Mite is available.
Yeah, so far really hasn't had a response. Now it's going to happen. This is the first time Jake has had a response, so get to do that. But even this, Max got to, you know, I would say get some value. Not much. You know, that's why if Max doesn't have another Breach to just win, I, you know, would have really liked to see him just, like, preordain. You know, like, get some good card advantage. You don't, unless you really need the mana, you know. Okay. Haywire Mite's ability seems to be on the stack. And in response to that ability, looks like we are just casting Flame of Anor. Draw 2 cards. Divination.
Yeah, not too shabby. We've seen a lot of these little value breaches where even in the face of it, you can stop my breach, whatever. I'll just go +4 cards.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, no
problem. And then also, it clears the way for the next breach.
Yeah. Yep, 100%. Haywire Mite at least has the advantage of exiling the breach, so no shifting woodland shenanigans, but whatever.
At this point,
we'll draw another one.
Yeah, a lot of resources in play for Max here.
Yeah.
To go along with the interactive point of just, again, Tormod's Crypt and Emery. So pretty safe and pretty well lined up.
And now the Mox comes onto the stack. Looks like that was the card cast. So
little finger pointing dance here, finger point here, finger point there, finger point here, finger point there.
There you go. On top of the grinding station. A green. A blue. We rumbling?
The pressure response is huge. You know, like playing for top 8, you know, you know you're up against it. This is the last round of a tournament, maybe for you, maybe not. So the nerves are a thing too. You know, we were talking about fighting fatigue yesterday. You know, you're fighting fatigue, you're fighting nerves. There's a lot more things you're fighting against than just your opponent.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this is as clear of a win-in as it gets, you know, so there's no win and maybe. It's pretty clean cut.
Yep.
This is one of the cleaner cuts. You know, it wasn't top 8 draw type clean, but it is for sure top 6 draw, 7 and 8, 9 and 10. Get 2 spots out of those 4. Opal again.
Ooh, we're still going here.
Yep. Opal to cast Tameo.
You can see, I see it on Jake's face here, not super pleased.
Yeah. Yeah. And past the turn. Dang, didn't win on the breach turn. Only has, 15 game objects.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Everything but, I guess.
Yeah. And if the crypt wasn't there, a solid chance that Jake could still win off that multiply. But the crypt is going to make this a little too difficult. We do see a rumble, but it's just at this point, what can you really rumble into?
Yeah, a lot to do. You know, the crypt really complicates things so much, Yeah. It just layer upon layer. And we've seen our breach players, play around hate by kind of accruing resources here. Jake's resource light.
Yeah.
The mulligans, a few bad exchanges here and there, and just doesn't have the tools to fight through.
Yep. And I think that last card in hand is a breach, but here's the tricky part. Not going to be able to do much. Now, you got the Urza Saga coming into play, make some constructs. Max is already down to 10. A lot of self-inflicted wounds here. But the amount of times one of the players' life total goes to 0 and it doesn't involve a grape shot win, pretty low.
Yeah, absolutely.
Post-board games, it can actually happen, when a little bit more interaction comes around. But game 1, it is definitely who's faster.
Yeah, this has actually been a much more interactive game than planned, but still not really even in that state.
Yeah.
So we got Tameo coming in here, going to get a clue, more resources, mana advantage, card advantage, board advantage. Only thing lacking, of course, is life advantage, but as we were just saying, not super important. So we got clues. We're drawing cards.
We rumbling. Casting a rumble here. See if we can find a breach number 2 to just really end it. And the one thing, there's still 36 minutes, of course, but the one thing these players do not want to do is draw.
Oh, my God, yeah.
If they draw, they are not, drawing themselves into 8th and 9th or whatever. They're down still in top 16, but they'll unlock a top 8 spot for one of those X3s playing.
That is true, which is pretty exciting, actually. We got Dingo still there in X3, and a couple other players as well. So, yeah, this is a spot where the threat of that, alongside just the emotional damage of just having to sit here and just be in this losing game for, for another 5-10 minutes or whatever, it's hard to gauge that. If your percent to win is 1%, is it worth wasting the time on the clock? Is it 5%, 10%? What's the line of like, all right, let's just save some time, go to the next game, not risk a draw?
That's just the biggest problem with Breach is you're just always so live in every game against every deck. You just can't concede. Can't ever concede. Your deck can always get it done.
I don't know. That crypt's looking pretty nice.
Yeah, this game's pretty much over.
So, and like I was saying, too, like the stress, it's emotional damage. Like Jake's sitting here playing for top 8. This is a really important match, and like you're just kind of sitting here. All right. I am present. I am in this game physically. But that's really it.
That is indeed really it. So looks like that is another Mox Opal, I believe.
Can't have 2 of those.
Yeah. I think it was just put to hand, maybe.
There are so many Mox Opals.
And I think they're all different art.
Yes, no, maybe so.
Yeah, Opals in hand off the rumble. Looks like we have 1 mana. Fetch away.
Going for the grind.
Okay.
Ooh.
Excellent, excellent. Milling Jake. Untap this. Most of the time, you never really want to point mills at your breach opponent, but when you got a crypt in play, you can see Grape Shot and just kind of end it here.
So Max is just looking for the Grape Shot to turn off the kill? Like...
Yeah, to just have Jake not be able to win, I suppose.
It's a fun little sub-game. You know, like we were saying in the intro, you know.
So there goes the crypt.
And here comes the crypt.
Exactly. Crypt is back.
That was so fun. Let's do it again.
And now, you know, no graveyard. Breach, you have to kind of start over again. Jake cannot win the game next turn through this, of course. Now, the one thing in Jake's list, in the list that I was playing, you have a Pithing Needle in the main. So,
okay.
Yeah. So if you do draw like a grinding station, you can survive one more turn. That Saga's going to come down. You know, you float a mana off that Saga and look at your opponent and be like, all right, Saga, there's no more responses after that. Pithing Needle comes into play. No more crypting. And, you know, if we're able to pick up Grinding Station and Mox Opal, then maybe we can do something here.
Yeah, very important that the needle could not be responded to.
Yeah.
Needle just comes into play. It's not like a trigger like that. You just name the card as it enters the battlefield. So if the needle's there, it is too late. And that's, of course, the only way to know that the needle will be there.
Yeah.
Now, it is open deck list. Obviously, Max knows about that. But it's hard to remember all these one-ups.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of these breach mirrors have blurred together over the course of the weekend.
Definitely. 100%. So there was the mana. Untapped the Grinding Station. Bobbled ourselves here from Max.
I feel like Max is trying to commit emotional damage here, you know?
Yeah.
Just like, I'm going to keep taking these game actions, take away your graveyard, just demoralize Jake, you know? Like,
it is in the demoralizing stage, absolutely. At the same time, you know, you got to close out the game in a timely fashion. If Jake wins a super long game too, and then they go to that draw, that, of course, is really brutal, so...
Right, and the post-board games are going to slow down a little bit and get a little uglier, too.
Yep, absolutely. Taking a peek.
This is the thing, too, where, like, when you're in those high-pressure matches, everything feels a lot slow, I guess faster than it is. You know, where the reality is you are not going that fast, but it feels like you're just flying by.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
It can be really easy in a really tight, important match to look up and be like, oh my God, there's 12 minutes left.
Yeah.
Like,
100%. Yeah, you look up and be like, wow, we have to play, and it's like, you don't realize at the beginning of the match. That is for sure. So we bobbled twice, 2 bobble triggers coming up for Max here at the next upkeep. Grinding Station. Essentially getting cute no matter what. You got enough cards in your graveyard, but looks like we are just trying to not draw whatever card was on top.
Of course, Soul Guy Lantern gone forever.
Yep.
You know, Max knows graveyard's totally safe.
Totally safe.
Safe place to be. Emery available also.
So now we get a construct here from Jake. Not nothing. Now we get to untap. Draw a couple cards off the bubble. Draw a card here. I saw a 0 drop. I think we already had the breach. Another construct. And, hey, I mean, if Max just keeps spinning his wheels here, these constructs are real. We got a 3/3. They're probably 4/4s. It's going to be a lethal attack next turn from Jake. So we'll see if we want to get a needle here. There it is. Needle. I bet I know what to name.
This has been an odd game.
This has been an odd game. And honestly, there is 2 games that Jake can play here. You can needle that crypt if you consider you want to win, or needle Grinding Station. Just say, hey, I'm not going to combo.
Sure.
And, you know, needle is an awkward card here in the mirror because, well, you know, it is a symmetrical effect. It is going to shut off all your things as well. But if you shut off the combo when you're already ahead on the battlefield as far as attackers, this really could be a thing. These are 4/4 constructs. Bang.
Yeah, this. We have confirmation with the needle named.
Yeah, let's see what that needle named. That's actually a pretty important one. I could see this being either or.
Yeah, I actually really like the idea of just turning off the combo and going beatdown here. You know, like the.
Never mind.
Okay.
Never mind. Yep.
Froggy time.
Would be curious to know what it was. Anyways, but I got you a gift. A fish.
Fish.
Fish comes in, and now we'll see. This should be Max's turn to attempt to win the game. That's a Shifting Woodlands. Pick up Graveyard, look for Breach. I think the only one that I saw for sure was Exiled.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, you can go bring back the grinding station. You can grind 6 cards, and if any of those are breaches, now all of a sudden your Woodlands is indeed the namesake card.
Players are laughing.
Yeah.
Interesting moment of like tension breaking. You know, it's been a very, very tense match so far.
Yeah, and it's just a spot where Jake's like, "How am I not dead?" And Max is like, "How are you not dead?"
And then we're like, "How are they not dead?
Yeah.
What's going on?"
So you can actually mill, a good chunk of cards. You can mill 9 cards. You can, right now with the untapped trigger on the stack, sack the Crypt, mill yourself. Attack with Tamiyo, sack the Clue, mill yourself. Grinding Station, sack it, mill yourself. Still have enough mana where if, you're going to have 2 Opals, you're going to have 2 Mox Ambers. There is the Breach. That should do it here. Woodlands to be able to activate it. And not too much that Jake can do here to interact.
No flash of Empathy Needle, right?
No flash.
No flash on
there.
No. They haven't changed the card for the secret layer or something like that?
Yeah. It's MH4.
Ah, yes.
All right. So that was attack, sack the Clue, shortcutting there.
Yep, that's out of here.
Yep. The shortcut. And now the Woodlands is GG as long as there are like 2 Mox Opals, 2 Mox Ambers, that kind of thing. If we go for it, of course, you got to see it.
And again, the clock's ticking here.
The clock is truly ticking.
It's making me anxious, honestly.
Yeah.
27 minutes left, and, if we go into a game 3.
Yeah. No, this game has dragged on, I feel, much longer than how far ahead Max has been the entire game,
Yeah.
And this is just Max, like, triple checking. Like, I do have the win, right? Like, you start to question all the mechanics you have with the deck when there's these high stakes of Magic. Sometimes, pressure, a little bit of the anxiety that comes in, it can blind you.
For sure,
Yeah.
And there's also the feeling of whenever you're close to a win, you see it a lot when a player is about to win a big tournament. I've had it happen to myself as well, where it's like pretty clear you should do.
Yeah.
But you just the overwhelming feeling is I do not want to screw this up.
Oh yeah.
I am not going to bed tonight knowing that I had it and I lost it.
Yeah.
So it kicks in, but this is only game 1. So
hey, we've had those moments. We all saw maybe kind of the biggest oops scenario. The Hazaret play. With,
ooh, there you go, yep.
Oh, yeah. One of the most brutal things, not having less than 2 cards when you got the win and act too fast. That is always going to be pretty brutal.
Yep, we saw it a few weeks ago with Matt Ness. Had lethal damage in play on attackers, but it was 54 life or something like that.
Yes,
So it was a lot of life, a lot of math, a lot of things to add up, just a lot of permutations, and oh my God, I'm about to win a Pro Tour,
Yeah, it's Matt Nass, the math major.
Exactly.
Doing addition and subtraction. He even said it himself. He's like, I figured, but we saw him double check that math like 15 times,
And to be fair, like me, Reed, Noah, we're all watching on Noah's phone, and we were also trying to do the math quickly, and we were also like, wait, 3, 4.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was a lot. But
I was right next to you. I was right there doing the math as well. And there is Max Deresh taking down the very first game here. Max is 1 game away from a top 8 here at this U.S. Regional Championship.
Now, one weird thing there was that, like, a lot of the game 1s in the mirror don't go like that. It's much more just like a bang, 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 race, boom, boom, boom. So, like, if they played a lot of mirrors where the game 1 went fast, you have more time for game 2 and game 3. That was a very weird game. With both players drawing their 1-up Graveyard Hate piece, the game slowed to a crawl early, which is what the post-war games are a little more like. And now, if this game goes to game 3, we might be in a little bit of a iffy space here.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Jim, putting you to the test here. How does Jake sideboard?
Oh my God! I'm not currently in your Patreon, unfortunately. Maybe I should be.
I'll give you time to sign up right now. Okay?
Yeah. Oh, I'll need my phone out. Yeah, I mean a little more interaction, obviously. You know, Spell Snare, Nature's Claim, Swan Song, all looking kind of nice. Unholy Eat, not killing Tamio is a pretty tough sell, right?
Pretty big deal.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, the interaction spells for sure. What's this Urza all about? I'm just going to ask you.
Yeah, Urza, so I really loved it up against Boros and Black-White. You know, having to have this card that gets to sidestep Stony Silence. Still get to tap your artifacts for blue mana, as well as just putting a body into play that's a 1/4, hard to kill, and then putting a construct which can present a clock, and you have an Urza that goes unchecked. That will win the game. It will win the game eventually. It snowballs kind of out of control just by activating every turn. And I just love it as the secondary win con. I wanted a second, to be honest, but didn't have the room for it.
All right, but not for this matchup, of course.
Not for this matchup.
Okay.
Nope.
I was just curious. We haven't seen Urza in any of those we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Also, that was missing it. So
anytime you're in a mid-range matchup where your construct can be good, and your opponent has a bunch of hate cards, that's when I was always bringing in Lord High Artificer. But combo deck, never really doing that. So, all right, Jim, we got ourselves a nice little sale. You want to walk us through this one?
Absolutely. Flash sale ends Monday. That means that's very, very soon. So get on this right now. Free shipping. All singles, only purchases over $50. All right, so you buy some singles for your deck, for your cube, for I don't know, hang on your wall. Magic cards are freaking cool. I don't know. And go on there, check it out, StarCityGames.com. Get that free shipping option, save some money, which is great. But note, ends Monday. So
ends Monday.
Run out of time. Fear of missing out. Shouldn't be you.
We might have maybe a different one colorless red card, maybe going into a clearance bin.
That is very possible, yes.
Might be some new sales on that card here coming up. All right, and then, we kind of glanced over it here, but then from Max, sideboard of Brain Surge, Swan Song, bringing some Flame of Anor's Nature's Claim. Soul Guide Lantern, you know, that is second piece of graveyard hate.
Yes.
It's pretty spicy. I will say I think Max's list looks better for the mirror.
Yeah, second Lantern's pretty cool. We saw in that game how once the Lantern or Crypt was dealt with permanently into exile, it's gone now. You can't loop it. You can't recast it. So having two of them is pretty nice. And then same sort of thing, right? You got Swan Song here, Nature's Claim, you know, a couple interactive elements. There's a Bolt instead of a Heat. So Bolt more attractive because it can kill Tamio.
Definitely.
That one might be coming in as well.
Yep, might be. And wow, Brain Surge. Draw 4 cards. Back in my day, that was on a sorcery and it cost 5 mana.
Yeah. Brain Surge versus Stock Up.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting.
It is interesting. You know, I mean, you get a lot more cards. Putting 2 cards back with all these fetch lands and stuff makes a lot of sense. We also saw Jesse Robkin playing Brain Surge over Stock Up as well. I won't question the greats here. It's a card I didn't even think about, to be honest. So
yeah, similar purpose for sure.
Yeah.
A little more nimble as an instant, obviously. But it's kind of cool. It's like this deck's been really good for a while, and we're still seeing innovations week to week, week in, week out. I don't know how much longer that'll be the case, obviously, you know, but it's always cool to see that even when Magic's in, you know, a spot where things are not exactly the way you might want them, you know, it's 7 out of 8 in the top 8, yada, yada, yada. There's still a lot of different things happening in these decks. All lists are different, and there's still a lot of beauty even in mirror matches, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's some mirror matches that are just incredibly awesome. I wouldn't say this is, like, the greatest, you know, mirror match. You know, I think some of my favorite of all time, you know, Dimir Fairies in Standard. Something like that where there's a lot of play to them. They get to go really long. Death Shadow here in Modern with Luris. I love that one. Combo mirror matches, they're a little silly.
I think they're one more in deck building than in the actual gameplay.
Yeah.
You know, being creative with your sideboard slots, having cool new tech, having good plans, you know, kind of like understanding, you know, the whole 2-win condition thing, you know, you got that going on, or extra Soul Guide Lantern, or this and that, sometimes you're playing Karn, you know, just like what's the tech you could kind of win the match in deck building and then go from there.
Yeah, and I think the person who won the mirror match in deck building the most was Michael DiBenedetto Plummer, playing those Karns in the main deck. Ended up falling to 11-3, but, you know, that is one of the players here that could easily get in if one of these players, you know, let's say drew. And,
that's...
we're at 20 minutes here. Let's keep an eye on that one, as this it's not far-fetched to think that could possibly happen.
Yeah, there's always a few players there on the outside looking in. But they're knocking on the window.
Oh,
you know, things happen, weird draws, whatever else might happen in a tournament. So
definitely.
So yeah, for sure. And then Max here, Max on a mulligan. A lot of pressure to win this game. You don't want to go into a game 3 because obviously you need to keep playing. You could lose, but time-wise, this is gonna be a really stressful game 3 if we get there.
Nope. 100%.
The nerves here a little bit.
Both players definitely feeling it a little bit.
Palms are sweaty.
Yeah.
Palm spaghetti.
100%. Yep. Going to be a very interesting top 8 no matter what. I'd be shocked if we don't do a little bit of following of Joe.
Yeah, for sure.
Poros Energy player.
But again, like we said, there is a decent amount of variation between the Breach decks too, and it's just seeing the deck building. You know, obviously the end of like, okay, we're Breach comboing, sure, whatever, it is what it is. But how you get there is very interesting.
Agreed. Totally agree with you. All right, shuffling up here. Max is going to be going down to 6 cards.
See, I think that both players are showing a lack of awareness of the clock right now.
Cut the deck, give it back.
Cut the deck, give it back. Yeah, we got to get going here. Right?
Yeah.
And this is especially for Jake.
Yeah.
Because, like, Jake's got to win 2 games.
Yes.
In 18 minutes and 51 seconds. Like, we got to go.
100%. This is kind of the spot when I'm just like, you're good. You know, I don't need to cut. I'll tell it to you while you're shuffling.
Right.
Save that couple seconds there.
Let's go.
Yeah. Got to be aware. And honestly, you know, probably if I was in Jake's seat, even when Max is going off, I'd be like, all right, got to make a play. You know?
Yep.
When we were going off last game, so.
That's the hard part, too. You know, it's important to police. I think it's important when you're trying to police slow play in a match.
Yeah.
Make it about both players.
100%.
A lot of folks are nervous to be like, hey, can you please hurry up? You say, hey, we got to play a little faster if we're going to finish this game.
Exactly.
I'm part of this, too. I understand that.
A draw is bad for us.
Right.
That's the signature line.
Right.
We do not want to draw here. Not great.
Yep.
All right, underway. Jake Stine cracks the Misty, or cracks the Tarn, excuse me. And let's see what our turn 1 play is. See if we got one of these hyper-aggressive, you know, kind of slam dunk draws. A turned-on Opal, for instance.
One of the affinity draws.
Yes, exactly.
Just lay your hand on the table.
Yeah, when you're a combo deck, but you also can be an affinity deck. 1 artifact. 2 artifacts.
Ooh, we're going.
Tameo.
We're going.
Emery.
We're going. Oh,
baby.
All right. And this is the fear for Max, where, you know, Max mulliganed, and now Max is staring at a phenomenal draw. And again, now that clock pressure really starts to seep in. If I lose this game, oh my God. So now you're trying to win the game, but recognizing that, like, you need to leave enough time for game 3 if you're going to lose, too.
Yeah. This is my favorite draw, by the way. It takes 5 game objects, but being able to get both of your creatures down, you know, ideally, I think Jake made a huge misplay by not flipping over like a lantern, you know, to be able to bring that back with Emery.
Yeah,
but otherwise, super tight play here from Jake.
I think we could add a bobble to this mix.
Yeah.
Improve things a little bit personally.
Okay,
but
you're a little bit more reasonable.
Yeah.
I want a lantern. Yeah.
Okay. Porcos Lostos.
Yeah.
Right?
All right. Debating on where Max needs to go here.
This is giving me anxiety.
It's giving me anxiety, too. And a lantern there right off the top is excellent. It's kind of the ideal thing here for Max.
Yeah, one of the things, too, where, like, when you're not really thinking about the clock, you don't realize how long things actually take.
Yeah.
You know, like timing yourself. Crack a fetch line, how long does it take? A minute?
Yeah.
45 seconds? Like, and those things really add up over the course of the game.
Definitely. I mean, I feel like, you know, Yorion kind of died for fetch land sins, you know? Like, there was so much fetch lands going on in those Yorion Renin 6 style decks that it was just slowing down tournaments, you know? And that became a big factor, I think, of kind of how we lost it.
A lot of cards have died for fetch land since.
Yes.
A lot.
Very true. There's Jace.
Ooh.
Jace coming down here as just a 2-mana value card.
This is a turn 2 Planeswalker?
Turn 2 Planeswalker.
If you're Max, he's packing up here.
God, it's getting tricky. And here you go. Mill 2. Tameo targets Bobble. You get to decide with Lantern. And this is another damned if you will, damned if you don't.
Yeah, I mean, this might be one of the best draws I've ever seen.
Yeah.
From a Breach deck. You know, the Tameo and Emery in turn 1, sure, but
Yeah.
the follow-up of Jace being in play, I mean, just cascading advantage. You know, now it's safe too.
Yeah.
No fear of getting exiled to Tormod script or whatever. Like, whew.
Yep. Absolutely powerful. You know, there was always those turn 2, the One Ring draws that were great. It was a lot tougher because Opal and the Ring never lived in the same time, but you know, you could always get a couple Mox Ambers and be able to make it go.
Now we're on 2 rows of permanents. We're already at that stage of the game on turn 2. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, what are you talking about? I see 3 rows.
I mean, lands, and then, you know, on Arena, when your board's so big, it like splits it into 2 rows or whatever.
Ah, okay.
That's when you know you're deep in a game. But this is turn 2, so.
Rumble, much more measured. Very chill draw here from Max.
Yeah, pretty tame.
There's a Haywire Might. And, looks like that might be that Brain Surge.
Yeah, old border, pretty cool. Yep, there it is. All right. Again,
we're both thinking it, man.
I know.
Our competitive winning in nature. You can see Jim and I, we're both just like tapping the table, tapping our feet. Like,
if you saw the camera right now, we're both actually sweating.
Yeah. This is brutal. I'm looking at the clock over and over.
Right. I think I'm looking at it about every 10 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and then we're going to pass it back. Going to be able to draw. And if anything, Saga going to 2. Just cranking out 6/6s. You get to start with this test. Tap Emery. Look at Bobble. Target Bobble. You want to respond?
Jace drawing cards too. Wow.
Yep. Mill, draw. Okay, that's a grape shot. Got to be careful, Jake. Got to be careful. And minor sequencing problem there, as if you're going to target with Emery, you want to do it before you start milling your cards. But now Jake's got to be on edge the entire time, because if you mill that second win con, I mean, I guess you can. It's in play. That's
right. Yeah.
But
Jake's pretty safe in play.
Yeah.
It's honestly
that's the safest spot for it, to be honest.
Right. Absolutely. All right.
Rumble. Grinding Station.
I mean, it's weird because, like, you know, we've seen the games where Breach just pulls so far ahead on cards.
Yeah.
Usually in the face of hate. And I guess there is a Lantern in play, sure.
Yeah.
But, like, this draw was so explosive. It's so powerful.
Yeah.
There's so much going on. You know, as long as Jake can find some way to just slow down Max, make sure Max doesn't go off. Not that Max is very well set up here anyway.
Yeah.
But, you know, an interaction point or two, and these card structs and all these fair cards can kind of just go do their thing as well.
Yep, and Jake can win through this Lantern right now if we do have a Breach. We already saw the Grinding Station. Looks like we are okay. So there's the Rumble. This should be GG through the Lantern, depending on how we play it, because, well, you play Breach, you stare at your opponent. If they don't sacrifice it, you start bringing stuff back from the graveyard over and over and over again. If they do sacrifice it, you say, okay, you play Grinding Station, you start grinding yourself away.
So that first one come back is a Grinding Station?
Yeah. And the one thing with already activating Jace, you know, you can't activate Win. You can just sack Clue, though.
That works, too.
Yeah.
That's the Breach, I assume?
Yep, that is the Breach.
Okay.
Grinding Station's already in hand from the earlier Rumble with that 2 mana available. So this is when we should be kind of staring at each other and be like, all right, let's play our game 3 here.
Yep.
With 10 minutes left.
Got to shuffle. Got to present. Maybe some. And then the worst thing possible is going into a game 3 with like 8 minutes left and having to mulligan.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You're at a disadvantage. You waste another minute shuffling. Oh, it's the worst.
Yep. And now Grinding Station is on the battlefield. Jake should very much. I don't love that. We really should be starting to bring stuff back from the graveyard to start. Bobbles, second Mox, something like that. Okay, this is fine. Lantern sacks, this is gone. Looks like we're going to have 3 cards milled.
Yeah, and then what's to play is I mean.
Yeah.
Almost everything.
Yep.
Station, Moxen, things to use them with. You get a Clue, too. Why not?
Yep.
You know?
Get a Clue, untap trigger on the stack.
All right.
And presented the ability to mill through a lantern. A beautiful draw there from Jake. And now both of these players are, of course, playing against each other. They also have another common enemy.
Yes, it is the clock.
Yep.
And Jake picked a really good time to have probably his best draw of the tournament. I mean, a turn 2 Jace is just woo! So very, very nice.
So good. So good. Absolutely love that. All right, so these players are going to sideboard. While they're doing that, Jim, if you got a certain deck you need to get rid of, or you want to get some store credit, something like that, where are you going?
Sell your cards. That's StarCityGames.com.
Smart,
all right,
smart.
hop on there. You can get some extra cash. You can sell your cards. They make it super easy. Or you can do what I like to do, and you can cash in for store credit. You get a 30% markup. 30%.
Yeah.
All right, that's the day 2 conversion rate of a Breach deck. You get that in your markup, and they bank it up for you. You can use it online on the website, or if you're at an event, you just say, hey, I want these cards. Check out my store credit. We're good to go.
Yeah.
You're always buying more Magic cards. You are, I are, we all are. So good way to do it, but cash is king too. Cash also works. So again, sell your cards.starcitygames.com.
Absolutely. I like to adhere to the school of Mangu. I like to buy high. Still sometimes sell, but always buying at the wrong times. You know, I'm like, 2 weeks late on this awesome new card. Oh, Ketchamos has spiked. Time to buy it. Let's go.
Yep. I still got 4 One Rings.
Yeah.
Didn't sell those. Whoopsie.
Hey, I mean, you know, at least you're not Post Malone. That One Ring's probably dipped in value a little bit.
Oh, yeah. The playability of the One Ring is just is heavily tied to our slabbed 1-of-1 Posty wears a necklace. I'm a bigger baller for the One Ring.
Yeah. I don't know if Post Malone's ever going to be able to financially recover from this.
Yeah. I wonder if Posty decided today.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't polish shuffle. Max.
No.
Max. What are we doing?
Jim's a wreck, y'all. Jim is an absolute wreck over here.
Anyway, back to my fun thought. You know, Post Malone decides tomorrow to sell the One Ring.
Yeah.
Does it sell for more or less than he bought it for?
Ooh, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
It was $2 million was the buying price, something like that.
I think so. Yeah.
Somewhere in that range.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is it worth more? Is it worth less? Is it, you know, the fact that Post Malone owned it, I think, adds to the notoriety of the ring itself. So I was a really cool promotion.
Yeah.
I really like that one.
Super
I think
fun.
It created just a ton of really fun conversations of just like, if you opened it, what would you do? What would you know, like, it's just like fun things to think about, you know, on a cart ride home for an event or whatever else.
Just open a booster pack and your life has changed forever.
Yep.
100%.
Yep. Obviously, kind of a lottery, you know, it is what it is. But, like, super fun, too. And obviously, we open a pack and you're still getting a bunch of awesome cards. There's a bunch of other cool things in there, other serialized cards and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But, you know, the tantalizing, the One Ring. And the fact that it's the One Ring, too.
Yeah.
You know, of just, like we were joking that, like, someone's going to open it and, like, you know, going to drag them out in the bushes or whatever, like Smeagol, you know. Go crawling off with it into a cave somewhere. So...
Yeah, I wonder if Posty would get that 30% store credit or go for cold hard cash.
we'll have to call Star City and ask him.
Yeah. All right, players are getting going. Max, quick mulligan.
No.
I saw Breach. I saw Artifacts. I see Opal. I see Bobble. Is Jake Stine? Is Jake Stine feeling good? Oh, yeah. I mean, hey, I was hearing the journey throughout. You know, I think Jake went in 8-1 after day 1, feeling great. You know, was having a blast playing the deck and getting updates throughout the event. More caps lock throughout the 6 rounds, if you can believe it. Super happy for Jake Stine. And, of course, big congrats to Max. Deresh as well.
Cruise control for cool.
Yep.
All right. I feel like the body language we're getting from Max here, you know, it's not over, bud.
Yeah.
We got to keep playing.
Oh, 100%.
We got to go here, you know.
I mean, you have these spots, too. I've been in this spot. Be like, all right, I win game 1. I'm in a good matchup or something.
Right.
And I just look at my hand, and it's, you know, no lands. And I'm like, come on, why me? And then I'm like, no, get those thoughts out of my head.
Exactly, yep.
You gotta just play the game. We see Underworld Breach there peering up from Max's hand as the only card. Is this a keeper? Now, the one thing I will say about these two decks, you know, of course, the same deck, but even if we go to turns, a lot can happen.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah,
you know, it doesn't take much. You know, when you have a 3-3 in play and they're at 12.
Jim, I got to interrupt you. I just saw Mox Amber as well, and I know we have Bobble and Opal. So I'm pretty sure we're seeing a beautiful draw here from Jake once again.
Is Jake doing it again? Oh, boy, here we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
My.
Uh-oh.
Emery, trigger. Now, it looks like Jake's actually going to have 2 mana. Could Rumble here if we have it. Could go Emery and Rumble.
Oh, my.
No way. What do we got? Okay.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. Wow.
We'll stop there.
Really bad draw here from Jake Stine.
Yeah. But yeah, if it's a deck that's attacking with 3/3s or whatever, you need X amount of turns to win. Breach obviously can win in 1 turn.
Yeah.
So going 5 extra turns is almost an eternity in some cases. But
what do you think they're going to do with the extra turns?
I don't know if I want to know. But some pressure here still. Max has got to get things going. Yeah. And if we get into some sort of a lot of sideboard cards, kind of slower game, then things get ugly.
And I got to say, I've been in one of these spots before. There's a best deck. I'm playing it. My opponent in the finals, it was the only GP I ever won, Ben Friedman. We were playing the copycat deck in Standard.
Yep, see
and, it is just afterwards, it's like, yep, we had our time with our beautiful cat, and you kind of look at each other and we get to enjoy that moment forever. We'll see if it's kind of the same with Breach. Similar decks, to be honest. Those kind of decks that can win in a plan B.
Yep.
Rogue Refiner them to death, or you have this I win button.
Yeah, the hallmark of a really good combo deck.
Yeah.
Not all in. Decks like Belcher and stuff, they're cool, but they're little glass cannony, whereas the true scary combo decks are the ones like this one.
Yeah. These I can definitely tell as I talk about some of the decks I've been playing. I have a type of decks I like. Yeah, I'm always liking the kind of plan B decks that have an aggressive plan A instead of all-in style decks. All right, so Breeding Pool cracked here from Max.
I got my hands back on my head again.
Oh, yeah, Jim is losing
I just look back at the clock.
Oh, yeah. See a little dexterity error here. Players are nervous for sure.
It's so easy at home to be like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
But
these moments are tough.
Until you've been in a match like this, there's so much going on. But if it's your...
Oh! Those are both win cons.
Yeah, is that an Oracle and a Grape Shot?
And a Grape Shot.
Okay.
Scary.
That is a precarious position for Max.
Yes. What was the card brought back? Looks like an Opal. Didn't bring back Oracle. Had the opportunity to do so. Okay. Is there a Lantern? No. All right, Jim. There is Breach on the other side. There's Preordain. If Jake can draw a grinding station here, or you can just go for it. You got Rumble in the yard. There is some world where, Jake can truly go for it here. You usually do need double Opal to pair with it to start looking deeper, but depending on what Jake has.
It's tough, Knowing when to go for it with the combo deck is one of the hardest skills to do anyway.
Yeah.
But in a pressure spot like this, whew, you're putting a lot of extra oomph into it.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous, and I'm just sitting here.
Yeah.
All right, so doing some math here. Now it's Jake's turn to kind of think things through in that spot where, maybe you can taste it a little bit.
Yeah.
Fetching first. Jake's fingers crossed, kind of, the pure demonstration of F6 here.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Okay, there's a Surveil. This is kind of like Jake's maybe one grinding station into the yard one time.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I think I did have a Preordain as well, so Jake did have the opportunity to maybe go for that first. Let's see, maybe I missaw it. 1 minute.
Oh my God.
We will be entering turns here, almost assuredly.
And you have some of those 12-3 players.
Yep.
Who are currently maybe tuning into the broadcast on their phones
yeah.
Oh boy, this is the dream scenario.
Yep. Okay, that card was left on top and a pass of the turn. Now, I think from Jake, I saw a Flame of Anor here, but the one thing that Jake has locked in at least is 3 more turns. You pass 4 times called, you at least get 1, 3, 5. Maybe more, of course, depending on how far we go here. But I see Flame of Anor. I see Breach.
I feel like I can feel the seconds counting down.
I know.
Every second is like a hammer.
Oh, man.
18, 17, hammer.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Tick.
I'm going to get a Tylenol.
Yeah. Oh, these are the big moments. 8 seconds. I mean, at this point, you might as well slow down.
We're in turns, yes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's always this flurry, or usually this flurry of, like, intensely fast-paced play.
Yeah.
Clock ends. Okay, let's slow down.
Yep.
We're now on we're a turn-based game, not a time-based game anymore. So.
Yeah. So that is turns. And is this just a pass of the turn? This is what looks to be an end step.
Gandalf.
Only 2 modes. Draw 2, kill spawn. And a spell pierce here. Decent.
All right.
Now this card was kept on top here from Stine. Turn 1. Boom. Jake's game to lose here.
Yeah, Jake, obviously much like Max is in trouble. You know, putting it all together to get a combo kill going. It's possible, of course, but like, you know, on 2 lands and a spawn, not the most exciting. But Jake is looking pretty good. You know, it's Molto Moxen, Emery. This is Jake. Jake is turn 1, correct?
Jake is turn 1. Yep. So
at worst case scenario on turn 5, the Earth Saga would go for a search.
Correct. Underworld Breach on the stack here from Jake.
Max says, come on.
Oh, man.
This is tough.
Emery targeting Bobble. Responds with the Nature's Claim.
Again, these countermeasures are they're cool and all, but ain't nobody got time for that.
Yep. And now, you know, that slight misstep there from Jake. Maybe the nerves catching up as well. When you Underworld Breach, immediately cast something, you know?
Yep.
So passes the turn number 2.
Oh, my God.
Okay, I do see another Breach in hand for Jake, so Jake's going to go for it again next turn. And looks like a Nature's Claim to prevent death.
A second claim on Max's side, you said?
I'm sorry?
A second claim on Max's side?
No, it looks like a claim from Jake. I see claim, Underworld Breach, mystery card in the back. So Jake's got the combo a little prepared, or a little, you know, defended against, as well as a little insulation from Max's combo here.
You call him Eagle Eye Corey here in the booth.
Yeah, yeah.
Tamio, this is not really Tamio's game right now.
No. And this was a pass. Bobble. Take a peek.
A lot of this is
Bolt.
not the time for 3 interactive spells in a row.
Okay, turn 3. Now let's see. There's an untapped land. Oh, this is so close. Now Jake has to maybe consider, do you wait and go for it now where it's not deterministic, or maybe do you set up where you have one more turn with the Saga?
That seems so risky.
Yeah.
To only give yourself 1 turn.
Yep. There's a Breach.
Jake agrees.
Okay, Emery comes down. Now you get more looks You get more looks at a grinding station to end it straight away. And if not, you have Rumble at least once. And then we get the non-deterministic stock up. Emery. Something. Island. Not it.
You saw the response from Max here was to sink his hat
down
a little bit over his eyes.
Yes.
Understanding that the run might be over here. And if it is, though, still a phenomenal run. Still likely a Pro Tour slot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, so at 11-3-1. So, I mean.
Okay, this is Emery here. 1. Lantern. Jace. Tamio. Need it. Oh, didn't hit it, but didn't go for the Rumble here. Went for this line. Doesn't look like Jake has the ability here, so maybe going to be kicking himself for going for it this turn instead of maybe waiting, because I don't see it. He has an untapped land drop to make. Okay. Now, you can, it's still not over. You can go, ooh, this is riskier. You have 2 options here. You either bring Bobble back and then Rumble, or you go for Emery again. And I would have been rumbling from the beginning, I think, but But here we go. Now you need to hit a redundant Mox or a redundant Mox Amber to keep it going.
So it's like a decent number of hits then.
Yep. Breach. Chameo. Mox.
All right,
Opal. And Mox Amber.
How about both?
Okay, but your resources are a little low here. This is still by no means good to go, but you get to keep going a little bit. All right, so 3 cards for another Mox Amber. And looks like we're going to do the Emery here. So this is -2 cards each loop. -2, so you don't get to do this forever. Got to get rid of... I think you got to get rid of 3 cards.
Those not the top 3 on the...
I don't think we have... I think we've missed escaping here one time. So I think there should be 3 less cards in graveyard.
Pretty big.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, this is high pressure moment. The highest pressure.
Yeah. All right, yeah, that graveyard's getting a little thin.
Yep.
The key cards are there, but the volume itself.
Okay. Might need it this hit. Is there a grinding station? No.
Oh, and the reaction there, too.
I'm going to have a heart attack.
Yeah, I'm losing it, too.
Yep. So now you got Mox Amber to play that. And then Emery. Looks like you can do it one more time, but you start to get to the point where after you Emery, you do need to have 6 free cards to get rid of again because you have to bring back a Mox, and then you have to Grinding Station.
You can see here how hard this deck is to play.
Yeah.
There are so many resources to manage. Obviously, the Grinding Station kills are really, really easy, but when you're not at Station yet and you're in this sort of looping portion between Emery or Rumble, a lot of things to manage. How many looks do you have? How do you maximize?
Yep. A lot of stuff here. Now when your brain kind of stops working, when it's this one moment, things are not going great. And now Mox Amber comes into play. 1 mana. We've already made our land drop. Now do you Emery again? Or do you maybe just bring back a Soul Guide Lantern and wave the white flag?
It's tough, though. If we weren't in turns, if there was 10 minutes left, that sounds very reasonable. But Jake, looking like this turn is not going to be the turn. Next turn has to be the turn, or things get really ugly.
Yeah. And there is the Soul Guide Lantern. It is the I will not win this turn type plan. Now, I like the Soul Guide Lantern because, you know, if anything, it turns on your Mox Opal here, depending on what's actually in hand here from Jake. Looks like we're going to pass.
Important to note also that the Grape Shot and the Oracle are both in the graveyard.
Not anymore. Oracle's gone.
Sorry, they're both there pre-Lantern. So, but with both of them there and the Lantern in play, it's going to be pretty hard for Max to win this game.
Yeah, I would think impossible. You can do some bolt lines, bolt, but a lot tougher without a ton of cards in your graveyard and facing down a Lantern. Now, all this being said, I don't know how many breaches are gone, but of course, Jake can still untap, draw Breach again, and go for it. Oh, my goodness.
So, oh, man. It's such an awkward spot, too, where, like, are you, you know, and Max is almost unable to win. You know, unable to win this turn. I guess not almost, actually unable to win. If you can't win this turn. You know, what do you do? You know, like, are you playing for the draw? You know, this Jake looks pretty ahead. You know, if this game goes to its conclusion, if we had infinite time, I think Jake is a pretty heavy favorite at this point.
Yep.
You know,
so I would totally agree. And, you know, maybe this comes down to the trying to speed things up along the game, because you can run into these scenarios. That game 1 was so long for how really not close the game was.
Yep.
And let's see what's in hand there. Looks like land, nothing too special there from Jake Stine. But could top deck Shifting Woodlands.
Ooh.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Now, you do got to have Delirium, and right now we have Artifact Enchantment Planeswalker, so you would need a little something more, but one fetch, I guess you can't. No, the Saga's going to go to the yard, so a Woodlands or a Breach. And I played 2 woodlands instead of 1, so we got a couple more outs.
Oh yeah, we got 2 in there.
Oh yeah,
Ooh,
I thought that card was too good.
All
Get
right.
2 of them in there. Flame of Anor to be able to do something. Probably this is. I mean, if I'm Max, I'm just like I'm gonna try to, not die.
Right.
At this point, you are playing for the draw. I would imagine. Okay, drawing some cards goes to kill Emery. That does give us Delirium, though.
Tamio slipped over, partially out of his sleeve.
Yep. Tick up.
And all right, this looks to be.
Honestly, at end step, I would sack that Lantern, draw a card. What else is it really going to do, Didn't do it. Turn 5. 1 draw step here. The final round of Swiss. What's it going to be?
Jake looking for a Breacher of Woodland and a ticket to top 8.
Okay, there is a search. I would say we don't see any too big of an expression from Jake, but he's been very even keel, at least on the outside here.
That search is pretty fast to me. I don't know.
Yeah, you think he's got it?
I'm feeling a little something. Something's gonna some stuff's gonna happen this turn.
Okay.
Maybe a redraw or something like that.
Yeah, get rumble.
Yeah.
Just so we can feel something.
I want a sweat. Give me a sweat here.
Yes. Come on, Jake. What did we draw? Okay, what was the top deck? We're not just immediately looking across the table and shit, it's a Shifting Woodlands.
Oh, I told you I was feeling good about this one.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that's 3 mana. 4 mana. Third time the charm for Breach.
All right. No longer a woodland.
Okay. Now what are we doing?
Yeah,
This is unreal. Emery. Jace is the only card remaining. Turns on Mox Amber. If we can get Grinding Station here. There's Mox Opal. Grinding Station. That. Oh my goodness. Mox Opal. Legend. Taps it. Taps this. Grinding Station coming back. Jace in the graveyard. I cannot believe what I am seeing right now. Grinding Station is on the field. Jace is in the yard. There is plenty of cards. Untap trigger on the stack. Sack the Haywire Might. Who cares? Untap, then sack the Opal. You got 8 more cards adding to the graveyard. It's not even close. You can easily get it going here.
Man, there is no more edge of your seat than this. Turn 5, extra turns, last straw, playing for top 8. Oh, my God.
Oh, my
wow.
goodness.